definitely missed you in many ways. I didn't miss some things, but I missed a lot of things. And I'm glad we all made it back together. Good to see all your faces. Today is our first meeting, and it's basically just going to be um, pretty easy to go through a few things. A few things we have now, new business. Are you ready? I'm waiting for you, actually.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order at 6:04. Call to the audience, anyone? Nobody? And then we'll move over to approval of the agenda. Looks like I left an item that was supposed to be taken off old business, consent agenda. I think you asked me to take that off last time, but I left it there mistakenly. So I'm going to take that off.
So we're
And-
taking off the agenda?
Thinking
Consent
of which bit?
Consent
Yeah.
agenda.
Consent agenda? Okay.
Yeah. So that's it for me. Any other person wants to make any other changes? In the absence of none, we approve. Can we approve the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. So let's, hi or nay? Hi?
Hi.
Okay. Approval of minutes from December 5th.
Looks fine.
Okay. Just one thing to point out, please, Mara, my first and last name is sufficient for attendance. Thank you. Any objection to the minutes? Okay. Can I get highs?
Hi.
Highs. Moving on to old business. I don't have Jim on my Skype,
We can come back to that though.
so we can probably come back to him. Concentrate. Still gonna be Jim, and we're in need of them a year right now.
Can you send the details to all of us?
What details?
Oh, that, or at least to me.
What
that you sent to
My
me. Yeah.
Skype account.
Yeah. In case I need it in the future too.
I will forward that to you. But I
So is it Daniel Supreme Court?
looks
Yes.
like he's calling.
He's
Okay.
calling?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Jim. Hello. Hello. So it says that I've answered it, but I can't hear him speak. Hello.
Maybe this is not the best use of time.
Is your sound on?
It is. I make Skype calls with this very often. I'm gonna send you a message. Give me a sec, please. Okay. While that's still going on, we're gonna move on to the next agenda, which is Supreme Court. Daniel.
I'm going to invite Janice to the next GC meeting just to have a conversation as to what the Supreme Court is expecting us to do in terms of changing our governing docs. There's no further updates until we talk to her.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments, questions, or whatever? Okay. Moving on to, excuse me. GPSC strategic plan is still a work in progress. I haven't made so much progress as I thought I would have over the break. But I'm still keeping the general deadline in mind. I'll try as much as I can to have something for us to review together. Hopefully by our next meeting, if I don't get too preoccupied with other things. But nothing much to give now.
I will, I still haven't put all of my
I
comments on
hesitate,
there. It got hectic at the end of the semester,
Yeah.
so I will get those up tomorrow, or Wednesday. And then any other new notes, cause I'll reread it as I'm making comments,
Yeah.
so we can work on that. Yeah, so edit with my comments that I had handwritten, and share that with the group.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on that item? I still don't have Jim. I'm going to move on to new business. If Jim is able to join us at some point to go back to that.
Is he on the Skype?
He's not calling back, and I'm still online, so just going to leave it online and wait if he calls back.
There must be some technical error probably.
Does someone else have a Skype account? I could try calling you and see if there's a problem with my account. But I bet there isn't
Well,
any.
Jim has anyone else's Skype, he could just call.
I don't think it does.
I think he's got mine.
Can we just call Jim, put him on speakerphone?
Yes, I don't know Jim's number.
Yeah, Jim's not
Anyone else?
online, so I think it's probably his Skype's not working, I guess. It's
DACA.
fine.
Okay, new business.
As long as he's trying, okay.
Okay.
New business, DACA. I wanted to talk to you all. Sometime last year, I'd had a meeting with Michael, and we're thinking about things we could do in response to the threat of taking away DACA and the students who will be affected. And we thought about possibly writing letters to some congressional members. Some names came to mind, but we haven't decided on who we want to write letters to or what we want to do with that. But I said I wanted to talk to you all first before I take that step, just to be sure that it's okay with everyone, and I'm not just doing something on behalf of GPSC without your permission. But it's more of we writing a letter to express our concern and support for the students who might be affected if that happens, and just be sure that we keep getting those word out to congressional members and all of that. So, any comments or questions on that? I'm happy to take that.
So the thing I've been hearing is that the concern is that right now, I think it's ABOR has decided that whatever the federal rules are on DECA students, that's what ABOR will do in Arizona. And then, of course, the problem is if federally DECA is repealed or whatever, then suddenly all these students are like high and dry because ABOR says that it's whatever federal regulations are that goes. So it seems like anything we say should probably be geared at requesting that Arizona have their own policy that's separate from federal policy. Because otherwise, if they just keep saying, oh, I mean, it's fine, students are protected as long as they're protected federally, then we're going to stay in the same problem.
Well, I think part of the reason that they're probably following that line of thinking is because they can cut federal funding from schools that aren't complying with federal mandates. So,
Right, but this
yeah.
is the other way around. There's as far as I know, the concern right now is that DACA will be repealed, not that a mandate will be put in place to say that you must deny service
Yeah.
to undocumented immigrants. Obviously, like the latter is very different.
Yeah.
But as long as it's just removing DACA,
Uh-huh.
there's no, as far as I understand it, there's no reason anyone should be threatened or any university should be threatened with loss of funding for continuing to grant these students in-state tuition, for example.
It'd be interesting to infuse the president as well as the city's language around it too.
Sorry?
The city of Tucson as well as President Hart, even President, what's his name, up in, President Crow,
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
all made statements as well, so it'd be interesting to kind of incorporate their sentiments.
Okay.
And what President Hart told us is that no matter how supportive the Arizona University presidents are, it's really ABOR's call, and so it's ABOR who we need to be targeting at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I think our approach is just mostly to, because what we were trying to say is if the entire thing can be stopped at the federal level itself, if they don't have to repeal that in itself. So the idea of writing those letters is just to hopefully get those people to speak against it should that come up, or if they decide that they want to go ahead and repeal it. So what you've shared, the sentiment you've shared with ABOR is true. ABOR would most likely want to do whatever it's coming from the federal level, and also I've heard that if they don't comply, a lot of the federal fundings will be taken away, like NSF and all of that. And that's a lot of funding for the university, which I doubt. I don't know if they will want to compromise on that. But again, we just all keep praying and be hopeful.
I think we should hear Jesse's opinion on this.
Yeah, Jesse, you came in at the right
Just-
time,
Yeah.
actually.
Dak,
Perfect timing.
I'm just gonna, part of our anti-discrimination policy is, part of our constitution is to fight against structural inequalities like
Yeah.
first generation Americans or illegal immigrants or whatever you want to call them. So I think that a letter that affirms that that's what we're going to do, we as an organization will do that regardless of what happens to DACA, is something that we should seriously consider doing. And I think sending it to ABOR and the State House
Are we speaking of a separate letter now or same thing?
Same thing. I just think when we write this letter, it's part and parcel of our constitution to fight for these people.
Okay.
And we need to, and I think that when we write this letter, we should just simply say that. That's
Yes.
part and parcel of what we're doing as an
Okay.
organization.
Okay, perfect. I know you just came in. You're trying to catch your breath. Do you want to chime in on this discussion? We're talking about ABOR, and I mentioned that myself and ASU President initially had discussions about the possibility of signing a letter together that we would send out to some congressional members in support, some Arizona congressional members in support of DACA students. So we wanted to get your thoughts on what you think about that.
I think that sounds like a great plan.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on this? If there isn't any, I'm gonna move on to.
Do you think you could, you and Mikey could find an undocumented student who could like proofread your letter before you actually send it out?
That's a very good idea.
Because I know a few came to talk at faculty senate last meeting, and so like if nothing else, maybe you could get a hold of those students.
There's also a student of ours who was on NPR recently.
That's what we could put in the letter too, is say how, studying at the University of Arizona as a DACA student has, positively affected
Yeah.
their lives, et cetera, and how that will help them in a career path either here or abroad if they stay here.
And
Yeah.
I'm losing the name of the thing. The Latin American Student Association might
Also.
also be interested in looking at this letter
Correct.
before we.
Also,
Okay.
and I'm really good friends with their president, so we can reach out, I can easily contact her and let her know about this.
So yes, what I'm gonna do, we're gonna try and draft that letter in the next. I hope we do that soon with Mikey, and then I'll let you guys see the letter and probably make your inputs as well and contributions. Is there another question or contribution on that item? If there isn't any, I'm gonna move on to the next thing, which is the MAC admin position, and that's me again. With this position, we in a while now we've noticed that the position has not had significant what's the best word to use? I don't want to use the word value, but basically the position has not really,
It's not
Advocacy.
efficient, maybe?
Advocacy.
not just advocacy now, but basically
Effective?
exactly more
Yeah.
that's a better word. It has not really been effective to us per se. We just end up paying somebody about 3,000 per year, but then what they basically do for us is post on Facebook, and it's something that just about anybody can do. I do that once in a while. Kevin does that once in a while, and actually Carol, who is our administrative assistant, has offered to take up that responsibility as part of what she can do, and she's been doing that for a while, and I think she's been very effective. A major part of that job, which is newsletter, turns out that the people we've had in that position for a while now have just not been able to do that job, the newsletter. We had that problem with the last person. We had that problem with the person who was in the position. She has resigned because she's moving away from Tucson, but we just don't want to hire someone new because we
Wait,
don't.
who's the person who was the
She's
MAC
leaving?
admin? She's gone.
She's already left.
Yeah, she's gone already.
Where
Well,
did she go?
She's
She's
moving
moving
away from Tucson. She's moving back to her place. So we just don't want to hire someone new because we don't really. I personally don't see how much that will contribute to. How much that will contribute to us right now. You might think otherwise, but it's open to discussion. Second thing is, I'm even thinking probably we can restructure our organization in such a way that that position or those responsibilities can go into some other position and not have that position at all. I think the administrative assistant can do most of the job that the MAC admin person does, unless we want to make up additional responsibility and actually have them work, because I don't see a reason to have someone who just posts on Facebook, which is what all of us who on Facebook do, basically on third, like every business. Yeah, go for it.
I would just like to say that I really don't think that there's much need for this position based on what the what the executive vice president's responsibilities are, the events director, and with Carol as well. So between the three of us, we should be able to make sure all of these things are covered, because part of my responsibility is marketing. So, and Kevin has access to Facebook, so if he needs to post about any events, he can do so, and doesn't have to go through me to do that or Carol to do that. He can just do it directly. So I don't really see a need for this yet. Right.
No.
Maria's gonna be next.
I was just gonna say, I thought the position was beyond Facebook posting.
It
It
has
was, but she didn't do
newsletter as
it.
well, which I explained.
Wasn't there other social media involved that were being
There's Twitter, there's Instagram.
Right.
Kate had started Snapchat, but the thing is, they don't post on Twitter. What they do is they post on Facebook and it
Goes to
automatically
Twitter.
posts on Twitter. And the Instagram account itself, she never really posted anything to the best of my knowledge. I don't think she posted anything there. And if we want to even reactivate those accounts, it's something that the people she just mentioned can still do. I mean, everybody has a social media account, and we all manage it without being paid for our social media accounts.
My question was, I remember when Kate was still in the position, there were some very good numbers as to how it impacted GPSC. So I'm wondering, did anyone look at the numbers that if the person who did this could have potentially?
So the issue is you can't decouple the numbers that we currently have and like who actually contributed. So for example, Kevin picked up a lot of the slack this year. And so we can't say that, clearly this girl is doing a good job if Kevin was doing a lot of the work. And so even if our numbers are really good, it doesn't change the fact that this position seems a bit irrelevant.
Yeah. I mean, it's just redundant because of the amount of people that we have that can do what this position is for.
I think if we're taking the position away, those responsibilities should officially be written into someone else's position, because otherwise, if we're just relying on people doing it, if the people in the positions change, we're just not going to have anyone doing it at all.
You're absolutely right. We're talking about that just before this meeting started. Our plan is to, already Kara is willing to take up most of the responsibilities. But again, I think this will be to student office, because you might be the one who will be here when Carol gets a new replacement. One of the things we talked about briefly is for the next person who's going to come in, we need to include that as part of their responsibility, the newsletter. I know Carol will try to do that, but it's going to be part of their responsibility, yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Daniel, go
Oh,
ahead.
okay,
Sorry.
go for it.
I don't think it's sensible to replace this person midway through, given that we're not quite certain if this is a valuable way of spending our money. Second thing is, does Marquez have access to the Facebook account so we can do social stuff?
I did, but there's a lot of differing marketing and different rules and regulations that I did not know of when I did try to do that at the beginning of the year and during the summer, that I had to put all my stuff down. And I thought it was Alexis that was supposed to take care of a lot of that.
How is this just
But I think
responsibility?
there's always a training that
This is-
happens every Wednesday that you
This
can
is
part of.
this is just a curiosity thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
That
not.
said, we've lost the person who was in the job. We're in a budget crunch. Let's use this money to spend it on our people
Alright,
somehow.
okay.
Just
Yeah.
a question, sorry if I'm being irrelevant, but I'm just wondering, did any of the person who just left the position, did she get any maintenance position?
Because she
I
left the
just,
numbers
I
on.
said that
She
Oh, I
moved.
understand she's leaving, but.
Okay, we should not be talking about her personal
She's
problems.
moving out of Tucson.
She's not here.
She's not enrolled at the university.
She's never
Oh,
She
been-
left the
it's-
university.
Okay, that's the answer.
Yeah.
So-
Thank you.
Okay.
Wait,
Yeah.
sorry. Just to clarify the whole admin position thing with Dean of Students Office, I think it can be written in. Carol's been checking the GPSC at email.arizona.edu account, which I think is really valuable to have a person who's full-time staff, who's checking in that account, who's responding to students, even if it is just like, hey, this is a travel grants question. She's also checking the travel grants funding account, so that's regardless. But I think we can write it into that position. Carol's position is, / Alexi's position is technically new, so we can
Okay.
certainly figure that out.
The levels of support are just significantly different than when you all started
Right.
Yeah.
using social media.
So I had at least some ideas for how to incorporate, or make the shift. So right now, okay, actually, Danielle, remind me, is it the EVP's job to be in charge of the marketing committee, or is it just your job because that was the position that was open?
That was the position that Jude selected when Zach
Okay.
was president.
That's
Which means that
Exact choice.
whoever chooses MAC chair. Okay, so I think that that we can look at the position description for the MAC admin and basically take everything that is important and put that in the MAC chair's description. And instead of having it, so I know one thing that Kevin was frustrated about was that our MAC admin never went to events to take pictures, and we really need pictures, right? Like, those are very helpful in getting better engagement and proving that, look how awesome this is, look how many people showed up to this event. So having someone show up and take pictures will be very valuable. Kevin can't always do it. The MAC chair might not always be able to do it. So it makes sense to say, like, the MAC chair's responsibility is to find someone to do it. Like, basically make sure it gets done.
I think that we could coordinate with the social chair and the social committee
Yes.
to do that, and because between the 7 or 8 people combined on both of those committees, somebody should be able to take pictures at
Right.
one of the events.
And just
And I do that on my own
Well, not
already.
you specifically,
so,
because
yeah.
you were there, so you should be engaging with people.
Right.
That shouldn't be
yeah. And the
necessarily
important thing
your
is,
responsibility.
don't make it so that person has to do it themselves.
Yeah.
Make it so that person's responsible for making sure it gets done,
Done.
basically.
Mhm.
And I
That's
think
great.
so. Also, newsletter. It sounds like it has to go through the administrative assistant. So even if it were someone else's responsibility, that person would have to press the send button. So it makes sense to permanently move that to the administrative assistant. And Carol's already said she's fine with it for the rest of the year, so that should be okay. And then posting. It makes sense to basically again say you're responsible. MAC chair is responsible for making sure posts go up about things, but not necessarily the one who has to do it themselves. And Kevin wanted to bring up the idea, and I think this, Danielle, will probably be like you, Kevin, Claudia, and Megan sort of hashing this out, maybe Carol as well, because she's got experience. Basically the idea of having a set schedule for what types of posts should be going up on what days. That way there aren't 5 posts on Friday and no posts the rest of the week or something like that. And then also I guess people can just sort of know what to expect from our Facebook so they can engage a little more effectively. So if all that can be put into place, then all of a sudden the workload gets, I think, a lot lower because you don't have to sit there and think, okay, what's a good post for today? You already have that guideline. Today is going to be an events post, or today is going to be a research grants post, whatever. It doesn't really matter what you guys want to do. But the important thing is having that framework there this year so that future years it's very easy for whoever the MAC chair is to just sort of run with it.
That sounds good to me.
Sorry, I had a question related to the position. Anyway, so if we're not hiring a person, how much money are we gonna save?
1,500.
1,500?
Yeah, we already spent 2,500 for her last semester, but
So, any thoughts on where we're gonna put the money?
Save
we
it.
haven't discussed that, but we can
No.
save it for next year. We can do so many things with it. We haven't discussed that.
We're going to have a conversation about whether we're putting money to travel grants in the next couple of months, so I think should just wait
There's a
until
lot of
that.
things.
Well, once we know what our surplus is.
But
we'll
I
figure out
think
what to do with it.
back to the agenda. So what I've seen to occur from most of you is that this is okay with a lot of us in this room. Is it necessary to do a vote and then probably just have it approved by GC lastly? Our discussion is that we want to take away this position.
I think our discussion right now is just to not hire a new person.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then at the end of the year, we should discuss whether we
Whether we
keep.
want to take away. Okay, that's
I
fine.
think it's fine, but I think we should also just tell the GC and have them, because technically we're not supposed to be making the executive board, not supposed to be making the decisions.
No, this is definitely a decision we can just make because the general
We can
counsel
just-
has to choose who fills the position.
We can decide.
We have
not
We
to
to-
can choose
approve.
not to fill it.
We can
choose
decide
not
just not to
fill it.
hire somebody.
They only decide on approving the person we choose. Okay.
If nothing else, the search would take a month and a half.
Yeah.
So
I'm fine taking up the slack that is left over, so
Awesome.
that's fine.
Perfect. Moving on to the next thing, stipend. Gonna allot 10 minutes. Is that okay for you for this, Jasmine?
Should be fine.
Okay.
So okay, I'm gonna kill the mic on the live stream. So if someone wants to go grab the,
I won't literally.
Bailey
Right,
Wildcat
so-
dude. Who wants to holler for the Bailey Wildcat guy? Okay, so more generally, there were a number of people who didn't fulfill all of their duties last semester, and I just want to make sure everyone is aware of what my approach to this is going to be. Basically, if someone didn't meet with their dean last semester, I want to tell them, and I want you guys to basically tell me if I'm allowed to tell them, that if they meet with their dean twice this semester, or at least make a concerted effort to meet with their dean twice this semester, they can essentially earn back the part of their stipend they lost this semester. Because it's fulfilling the spirit of the duties, even if they did not quite fulfill the letter. But obviously, I can't make that call by myself. You guys kind of have to tell me if I'm allowed to make that promise to them.
So the idea is that in order to earn back their stipend from last term, if they try to meet with the dean twice, make a good concerted effort this term, which is twice what they usually have to do, then that will override any failures from last fall. Is that basically what I'm doing? So I am not sure about this because I'm not sure what meeting with the dean twice in a term accomplishes.
So meeting start of the semester, or as close to the start of the semester as possible, to basically introduce themselves and explain what GPSC is and what they're trying to do, and ask if the dean has any suggestions, or bring concerns if they already have concerns from their constituents. The second meeting would be at the very end of their term to introduce their replacement.
Okay.
I guess just needing, like if they weren't able to actually meet with them in person, just showing that they have proof that they've made efforts through email or something of that nature that we can, that they can be able to show us should be fine.
Yeah.
I guess hopefully more than one attempt at that should be good to go.
Okay, go for it.
I would like to say that as someone who teaches freshmen, if they fail to do any other duties, so if they miss a bunch of meetings, doing the extra credit doesn't actually give them anything. So they have to fulfill all the normal duties and have an additional meeting with the dean this term in order for it to work.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right. So if they fulfill everything else, they can also make up lost stipends from last semester. Okay.
Are they allowed to meet with an associate?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
Cause some deans would generally not want to meet with them.
Yeah, and that's
or
fine because
direct
it
them
does
to
say
associate
make a
dean.
concerted effort. So if they
Okay.
meet with someone who's as close as they can get,
Okay.
that should fulfill that line.
Because associate deans take it personally.
And I think, and to be very fair, I think associate deans sometimes are the ones who are even in better positions to reach out to the student. Because in engineering, he spoke to me, but he asked me to work mostly with Jim Feed, and that's the person I've been working with. And that was the same with SBS and many others.
It happens.
So, associate dean is
I think
fine
that's
as well.
fine.
Just clarifying for purposes of the minutes, so we're, also there was a comment if they fulfill the rest of the duties also they can make up the stipends as well?
All,
We're discussing
basically only if they fulfill all the duties of the spring term and make an additional meeting with the dean, then they can earn back.
Oh, okay, so we're still
So-
talking about.
And then, so that, maybe we should just vote on these separately. So I guess first idea is Daniel's suggestion of they can only make back parts of their stipend that they lost if they also fulfill all other duties for this semester.
Yes.
Alright, so yes, vote on that. Jude, do you wanna I mean, it's your meeting.
No,
so-
I just want to be sure that I know what we're voting on.
Okay, so we're doing it in two parts.
Yeah.
The first part is to say, I move that you can only earn back the fall stipend if you fulfill all the spring requirements, which includes meeting with the dean, going to all the meetings, make sure you have a meeting with all of your constituents, etc.
Okay.
So if they don't do that, then they're ineligible to earn back the fall. That's what
Okay.
I'm saying.
Okay.
So
Is that a motion?
That's a
Yes,
motion.
that's a motion.
Is there a
Second.
second?
Yes.
Okay, second. So do we have the ayes for that?
Yes. Okay.
That's 5. Is Jim? What's Jim's vote on this?
Did he call you back?
He didn't call me back.
Okay, well, Maria, what's your?
Is there nay? Mario, what's your vote? Nay.
I thought we were gonna vote again.
We're gonna
Well, this is a first vote, and then we'll have move to the second issue,
Yeah.
and then.
So now we have
Okay.
5 ayes.
Voting nay?
Oh,
You're voting
abstaining.
Abstaining. 5-1. Pending what Jim decides.
So then, second motion is I move that people who did not meet with their dean this semester can be given the opportunity to meet with their dean twice next semester, where one of those meetings must be to introduce their successor.
So clarify this semester, next semester.
Okay,
Spring semester.
Fall
sorry,
semester,
fall-
spring
if
semester.
they did not meet with their dean fall semester, then spring semester, they can meet with
Which
their dean
is a
twice
semester.
to make up that part of their stipend.
But they don't need to fulfill all the responsibilities.
We've
Yes,
already
they do.
voted
Yes,
they need to.
yes.
This is on
They
top
have
of
to
that
do that.
previous
They
motion.
must fulfill all the responsibilities for the spring semester, and
Okay.
they have to meet with the
Yeah.
dean twice in order to get their full
Okay,
stipend.
okay, I get it.
Or
So
to be
that's-
eligible for it.
Yeah, so
Okay, I'm
that's,
corrected, I'm
Okay.
understanding, never mind.
that's
So
the new motion.
second?
Four.
Second.
Okay, eyes.
Okay.
What's James? What do you know? 6
I'll
pending.
just
Just add
say
whatever it
abstain.
decides.
Okay.
Okay.
And then one other suggestion was, so some reps did not sign up for a committee fall semester. So for those reps, my suggestion is that they be able to earn back that portion of their stipend if they attend meetings for essentially double the committees for this semester. It's a little fuzzy because they're allowed to either show up to 2 low impact committees or 1 high impact committee. And this is an incredibly fuzzy thing.
I think we're already getting too
No,
complicated.
Yeah.
alright, that's fine.
Because
Just scrap it
honestly, I'm
then.
getting
It's
really
cool.
confused right now.
Alright, so just the dean thing.
Just the
I'm getting
dean
quite
thing.
confused.
Alright,
Well, I mean,
we're
we-
good. Oh, no, one more thing. We're gonna
What-
vote right now. Proxies do not count as attendance because our bylaws say that you have to be present at meetings, not that you have to send a proxy. But apparently there was some confusion about that. So I want it to just be, on the record right now that proxies don't count for attendance for the purposes of stipends. And we need to vote on that.
Beyond just being on record, are we gonna put this on the governing document? Because
It's-
most of us are gonna leave
Well,
at
that's not my job,
some
but maybe our
point.
governing
As-
officer can say something
As
about that.
far as, sorry.
This is something that we should talk with the general council and have the general council make a decision that they then reincorporate into our governing docs and then have that an official decision.
I will say that per Robert's rules, proxies don't count for attendance and have
Yep.
never counted for attendance. And so I was under the impression that that's how we've been operating the entire
Oh,
time.
no, apparently, for fall, we actually did give people their full attendance
Okay.
stipend if they proxied every meeting.
Okay, so the deal with the way in which the bylaws are written is that the only excuse for not attending a meeting is being more than 10 miles away, as far as I understand it. Really.
Okay, well, the problem
I-
is that as we as the general council don't follow Robert's Rule of Order to the full extent, and that's been decided last year, this year, I don't know how many
Well,
times.
Well, it actually
no,
says in our
actually,
constitution.
the problem is that we need to be following the Constitution as written. Constitution as written does not allow proxy votes to count for attendance, only to count for votes. And I've been under that understanding this entire time.
Yeah, and that's been true for years.
Well,
So-
I
The
think-
But
reason
can
for
we
this-
have one person talking
Yeah.
about very different
I
words?
think
Are you
so.
done with your
Yes.
train of thought?
I think-
Okay. And we're running out of time for this
Okay,
discussion.
I think
3 minutes.
the important thing, in addition to talking with the general council, I think a lot of people, presenters aren't aware of that because that was never told, they were never told this.
They were told that
Jasmine,
because-
can you allow finish our thought, please?
As far to my knowledge, because I had people, I think, confused, and, I mean, it has to be very clear, it should be written in our governing docs, discussed, everyone should be on the same page, because if people think that, if people were recruited or became part of GPSC and they thought that proxies counted, and that's why they were asking people to proxy for them, then they should be told, no, it doesn't, because otherwise we're enforcing an unfair process.
Okay.
No, they need to read the
Hold on, please.
Constitution.
Hold on, please. Hold on,
I'm fine
please.
with Danielle going.
You
Danielle,
Jasmine,
talk.
Yeah.
They need to read the Constitution first. That should be a responsibility of everybody that's on GPSC, period. And if you don't know what is in the Constitution, then I don't understand how you really can be an effective member of the council, first of all. Second of all, let's just reiterate that at the next GC meeting and say, make sure that you know that proxies do not count for attendance. They count for votes, except for certain votes that we have on certain specific things. So if you have a question about this, you need to ask Daniel and Maria, period, and Jasmine, because you're the admin and VP. So ask somebody if you don't know or
I
are
will-
confused,
I will
right?
happily clarify that at the
Okay.
next meeting.
Chrissy.
Are there any other points about proxy that should be addressed while you're doing it? That's the only thing I ask, because everyone knows I'm not a huge fan of them, but the reality is that there are any other understood or unwritten rules about it. It would be just great if we just address it in a whole. How many can they have in a semester, et cetera?
They can have unlimited in a semester.
They can have 2 per meeting.
Oh.
People can have-
The executive board as a whole cannot have more than 6 proxies. I will emphasize, I will pull up the thing and read.
I guess one of the
Thank
questions
you.
she asked is, can somebody decide to do proxy votes, like for the entire semester,
They
not
can,
coming to the
but
meeting?
they can't get paid.
Right.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
is how it's always been written.
I was gonna say, I think just reiterating why you have proxies is purely to do business.
Yes.
Yes.
Purely for business.
Because we need quorum
Nothing
to be able to
else.
hold a meeting.
Frankly, you shouldn't even get a t-shirt.
Yes.
If you had t-shirts.
I will quote,
Right.
I'm gonna quote you.
No participation.
No participation, no
Also, I would
t-shirts.
like
Okay,
to-
okay,
wait,
guys,
Jude,
we're running out
I
of
have
time.
one thing.
We're running out of
Sorry,
time.
sorry, also.
Is it something that
Jude, it is my turn to talk. I
Hold
haven't
on.
time to talk
Say,
yet.
say what?
I would like to point out that I did tell everyone that proxies did not count for attendance. They only counted for the purpose of being able to hold a meeting. So if people were still confused, it's because they didn't listen, not because they weren't told.
Okay.
No, I did not tell them.
Okay, guys.
Yes.
Thanks for the phone. Are you done with your thoughts? Last point on this.
But I think, okay, I think in addition to what was just said, we should talk about everything regarding proxies. I think, it should be clarified who the official members are, who are secondary members, and who is allowed proxies and who is not, and how that's supposed to be regulated. And proxies should be announced, I don't know, like 24 hours before the meeting, or some timeline-specific guidelines, because if they're announced at the meeting and only one person knows about them, and I don't know about them, or Daniel doesn't know about them, then there's no way to incorporate it. I can't keep track of attendance. There's no way to keep exact count of votes. So that needs to be written, announced, that, proxies need to be announced to these
This is-
people 24 hours before the meeting, and specifically who can be proxies, who's the official member, who can't.
Okay, you're right. What I'm gonna say is I'm gonna leave that to you and Daniel. Both of you run. He runs the GC meeting, and I'm gonna leave that to you guys to do that so that we can move on.
Yep.
You're done with
I'm
stipends?
done with stipends.
Okay. Moving on now to the next thing, which is GPSC office housekeeping. That's the term I could come up with. I wanted to give you guys a few updates on some things about the office. One is that if you recall last year I sent out an email of what it was going to cost us if we wanted to put up those APAC using FM. It was just an outrageous bill. But fortunately we had someone come into the office and fix that for us for free.
They snuck in and nailed things to the walls.
Yeah, they snuck into the office and made some things into the wall. And we thought it would be cool if we kind of show appreciation to this person in question for doing that.
The elves, the office elves.
We can put out some
Yeah,
cookies for
we're
Santa.
probably just putting something outside the door and maybe snucking back. But the thing is, someone had made a recommendation of, I think, a gift card that was going to cost, I just can't find it now, but I recall it was around $30.
Are we allowed to buy gift cards? This is a terrible question. Gosh darn it.
Can
Okay.
we give
We
Um,
can't.
can we get
right.
them for the bookstore? No.
For the what? I think it's something
You
from
could buy,
bookstore.
you could buy something at the bookstore and then, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But
As long as we're allowed to do it this
if
way.
I recall correctly, let me look for that email. It was something that wasn't going to cost us more than $30, and I personally think it's worth it because I know what that was going to cost us if we used FM. But I just wanted to be sure that you guys are okay with this.
I'm
So
fine spending $30 so long as we follow those specific
Yep.
purchasing
Correct.
rules.
Second.
However
Sorry.
that works.
Sorry, for record purposes, $30 for what?
The person who nailed something to the wall.
Who mysteriously
in the
fixed
South
all
Wall.
our office.
Okay,
Basically,
actually,
saved us $1,000.
actually, let me
That's amazing.
let me
great.
let me clarify. It's not a gift card. It's a gift from the bookstore.
Oh,
Okay,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's
That sounds
$30
great.
gift from the bookstore.
Yes.
That's
Done.
how you just generate revenue.
Yeah.
income.
So I guess there's no issues with that right now. Are we all fine with that?
Yeah, we just need to follow the procedure for
Yep.
Okay,
purchasing.
I've had no objections to that. So I take that as a yes. Second thing I wanted to bring to your attention, there's 2 computers that have been in our office for a while now. Those computers are supposed to be used, from what I've heard, for people who want to come to GPSC office and print some stuff and all of that. But unfortunately, that has not been used for several years. And right now it just occupies space in the office. And another problem is having told that those computers cannot even function properly right now. And if we want to restart that program, we need to buy new computers. for those for that services to run. And I personally am not going to spend. I don't want to spend money in this STEM right now buying computers for people to conference. What we're thinking about is giving out. I think the term is surplus. Is that what you call it? To surplus those systems, but I just wanted to be sure that the EB is okay with that. I don't want to make that decision alone. Is that something we're fine with?
There will still be one computer available for printing. There's 2 computers near the printers. One of them is like cannot be used at all.
Okay.
But the one that Myra works at, the travel grants assistant, that one
That
can
was
still be used.
today, yeah.
I would say let's just bring this to the GC for the meeting, just to tell them that this is what our idea is and let them vote to approve it, because we can say that we voted to approve it here. If we vote, I motion to approve surplusing these 2 computers.
So seconded from EP
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, and so we can bring this to them and say, hey,
He's saying no way.
do you want to get rid of these computers and get some more cash that we can use as surplus for next year or whatever?
We've
Or-
been getting,
Are we getting cash?
Isn't that how surplus
If you,
works?
No.
it does credit your account.
Oh,
if you
really?
buys it, so
Sweet.
it's not
Okay.
Does
how
it?
much- Yes.
Done.
Cool,
Hmm.
so,
It's not
yeah.
like you're gonna get a full
Does
value.
everyone, so yeah, I motion
Okay.
to, surplus
whatever computers don't
those
work.
computers that aren't working, that Megan so deems.
Don't give her that authority.
No.
Motion
The two
for us to vote,
computers,
yeah.
Motion to vote on the computers to surplus the computers that
Okay,
don't
is
work.
there a second?
Second.
Can I have ayes? Nays? Abstentions? Okay, you please know what James vote is and then complete that.
Let's just make sure we have
Emailing.
copies of whatever's on those
You
computers,
might be
just in case if we
emailing,
need them.
I can't.
Some
I
of
just
them.
have
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think,
Email.
I want
That's-
to say part
that's
of the problem is we
expensive.
can't get into the computer, so it may just make it locked out.
Then never mind.
Check.
Cool.
I
check
want to
with
think
the-
that's about it. Megan, am I forgetting anything? I think that's about what it is. For admins, have you received your stipends yet?
I did.
Finally.
I did.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Sorry for the delay, but I know Carol sent out an email regarding the new timeline so that
Yeah.
you guys can get that pretty early. I think that's about all I had to say for GPSC office. Does James still want to say anything with the budget updates of DACA? I want to move over to.
He sent a document for budget updates.
Okay, he sent a document for the budget updates.
Yeah, I've seen that. But I'm asking if you had something to say that he wanted to. So otherwise, I'm going to move on to the next thing, which will be reports. Is there someone who has a report to give? I know it's a video, so I'm not expecting anyone to have lots of things.
I can start.
Okay.
I went and
Okay, how about we just go in order? If you have, just if you don't have, then we'll move to the next person. Do you have a report to give?
Yeah, sure. I have a meeting on Wednesday with my social committee or whomever is able to attend. Now, I guess since you're involved with marketing and what have you, I thought that was Alexis. I'll send you an email maybe if you can attend. It's going to be on Wednesday I have it slated from 7 to 8:30, but it might go a little sooner than that just to get some things situated. Have that. Did you all receive the Taste of the Union event thingy?
Yes.
Okay, yay. Then I am meeting with Natalie from the Rec Center to talk about a few
Natalie?
things. Natalie, yeah.
Yeah.
Natalie Fair, the one that you met that you forwarded to me. We'll get some information as far as what types of things, what conversations that she's had with other GPSC members in the past and what we're able to continue or move forward with things that we can get from the Rec Center with that. Soon I'll be in talks with Heather Cleenan as well about some other possible events that we can do with that. And then I received an email from Emily Gullickson about School Choice Week and being involved with that and having some performances through the School of Dance or what have you. That I believe that Jesse, you forwarded my email to with that one and a couple of other people. So just giving you some updates on just some small events that's happening currently right now with that. More updates will happen after that meeting on Wednesday.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions for him? None? Secretary, any reports?
Just working on minutes, that's all.
Okay, does Jim have any reports?
Sorry.
Okay. Daniel?
We're going to be going to the Capitol on the 18th
That reminds
Still,
me.
still looking for people to come with us, I think. We have about 4. We need about 15. So I'd settle for 7. So those of you who are free on Wednesdays, or those of you who know people on, they don't even necessarily have to be GPSC members now.
Right.
If they're grad students who are advocates of some kind, then invite them and tell them to send me an email, send Jesse an email so that we can get it figured out. Send Danielle an email. Danielle's gonna be there, I'm gonna be there, Jess's gonna be there, Jude's gonna be there. I think that's it right now, basically. So we're gonna try and get other people to come. And that's just, I have a letter. I talked about supporting people using the proper pronouns and names when they talk to trans people and people without gender. So I will actually circulate that in the next couple of days. So I'm just gonna bring it directly to the GC and say we should sign this letter. Yeah.
I forgot about one thing. Can I just make?
Sure.
Are you done? Tanya?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and also hopefully working with Danielle on, like, with the proxies and clarifying some of the other policies with regard to attendance and meeting. Yeah, there are several things we wanted to, talk about and, revise and clarify.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. With Carter the Capital, looks like too many people want to attend this. First point, remember to talk to Carol to make reservations for the car that we need to use. That's next Wednesday, so you can tell her this week so she can do that. Second thing is we can probably do like a sign-up sheet and send it out to, I don't know if we'll send out a newsletter between now and next week. Are we going to send that one?
Yeah, I think she usually sends them out on Mondays.
So if we plan to send one out, we can put like a link to a Google form or something and have us send it out and see if people will sign up, like grad students in general, so that would help us have an idea as to how many people may want to go. We can also put it on Facebook. I know the event is there, but we can also just share the link on Facebook.
We're gonna share that on Facebook. We should share that by Wednesday. This
Yeah,
Wednesday.
Okay. If you write up something you want to have on Facebook, I can share it, Daniel can share, any of us can share that for you. Okay, next person is gonna be Jasmine, I believe.
Okay.
Any reports?
So the executive director of Residence Life search is wrapping up. So at this point, there are 2 candidates being invited to on-campus interviews. So they want actual students to talk to these candidates because, Residence Life kind of has a lot to do with students. So they're asking students to attend a session with each candidate this Friday and next Friday from noon to 1:30. So if any of you guys could possibly show up, that would be fantastic, especially because I have a meeting at 1:30, so I would have to leave early. So if there could be GPSC people there the entire time, that'd be great. There will be food. Also, like, everyone's invited essentially, but like, if we can get anyone here to show up for sure, because like, I've tried this before and people are like, oh, I'll totally show up, and then they just don't show up, that looks really bad. So if we can like, get some people to commit, that'd be fantastic.
I'm sorry, noon this Friday.
Noon this Friday and noon next Friday.
Do you know where it is gonna be?
Probably Residence Life, but they actually don't have a location yet.
Okay, send me an email and I will go.
Okay, that's perfect. I was gonna say you can also talk to Rahul.
I'm gonna email the reps as
Might
well,
be
but
interested
like,
'cause
I
he's
was
already
trying to
a
get you
fees
guys
committee.
specifically.
What time is it in? Because I have SSFAB meetings every Friday from now until the end of life. From 3:30
It's only
until.
lunch, right?
It's noon to 1:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna commit to this Friday because my mom's in town through Saturday, but next Friday.
Next
I think
Friday?
I can go.
Okay, and I'll send an email like either tonight or Wednesday probably,
Oh,
and then another one next week too to remind you guys. But okay, that's great. Also, if you have any questions that you would like the candidates to be asked, I've already requested that questions about grad student housing and family housing in general be asked. So I know that one complaint that we've gotten is that, let's say you're married, you cannot live in Maladea unless your spouse is also a graduate student here. And then, heaven forbid you have kids or anything. So just bringing that up, that way it's like on this new person's radar as soon as they come in, rather than us having to sort of build it from scratch. So if there are any other questions that you guys would want me to ask.
When you ask that question, can you emphasize the fact that we do childcare sort of stuff as part of our mission?
Yes.
Say we have our own grants that we give out, so
Okay.
this is really important to graduate students, especially because we have a unique position in the university as adults,
Okay.
et cetera, and so on.
So try to push, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because say, well, we have $1,000 rent that could complement this for people who live on campus, you know, something like that. I mean, they're eligible for it.
Yeah, if they're eligible for stuff that we do, they should be eligible for housing, et cetera.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, any other questions or comment for Jasmine?
Let me think real fast if I have anything else to say. I
Okay, while you're
think we're good
thinking-
right now.
Okay, Daniel, go for it.
I spoke at an orientation this morning for accounting. That was 5 people. I told them about the social event next Thursday. I told them about student showcase that's happening next month, and told them, even though it's soon, that if they had ideas, they could at least start presenting early, even though they're starting their graduate program now. I told them about travel grants, et cetera, childcare, all those things. I went through the slideshow, but I made sure to go over dates with them, upcoming things. Yeah. go ahead.
We should actually do something. Kevin needs people to help him sort, essentially, or like review student showcase applications. So at this point, we've got someone from fine arts, we've got someone from social studies, we've got someone from hard sciences. So we're kind of covering most things, but if any of you would be interested in helping sort these applications, essentially, people are sometimes not very good at applying to the correct category, and also occasionally people do something like, oh, I would like to present my entire art portfolio, and that's not what Student Showcase is for. So sometimes we have to sort basically like notice that the application does not fit the mission of Showcase, and then Kevin tells the person like, can we adjust this here? So if you are interested in helping with that, Kevin needs another 1 or 2 people. So, and if none of you guys are interested, that's fine, because I can go talk to reps too, but figured I would mention it now.
Okay.
Okay. So I talked at an orientation. I am going to email the marketing committee to set up a meeting with them ASAP. I've been putting it off, and then I was at a conference from last Thursday, so then I just have not been emailing. I also want to set up a meeting with Sarah Netherton, Janelle, any other relevant people to talk about fundraising. So Jude, probably Jesse, if we can manage a good meeting time that would work for you. And then anybody else, I would open it up, but I would like to start small and focused, and then expand that as needed for input and thoughts, because obviously we're brainstorming. I would like to get something codified about how to move forward with fundraising in the future. That way people have resources that they can look at as they're trying to go out in the community to fundraise. So like come up with like packets for people to take with them or to send ahead to try and get money from businesses, right, in town, because it looks better when we can send pretty pictures and like nice infographics that show like this is the percentage of graduate students that we reach, etc. So I would like to expand that later, but at the moment I really want to talk with Janelle and Sarah specifically, because I have ideas for basically selling sponsorships. So like we could have like the Raytheon travel grant and REAP project grants, right? So we could have like 2 different things. And Jim Click like marketing travel grants or something like that. I mean, just thinking out loud about how to get businesses involved with us and us involved with businesses, in order to get more money and make some of these programs pay for themselves, hopefully, eventually, and not have to rely so much on SSBAB money, because sometimes we just can't. So I think that would be a really good thing to start getting those in place for the year, and those can be modified as necessary, but if we have those, that would give next year's person a good jumping off point. Daniel first.
I just want to, like, if we end up taking Raytheon money and Raytheon wants to spend it on the hard sciences, I'd like to, like, then shift whatever money we have to other places so that
exactly.
it remains at least
Yeah.
vaguely.
And that's fair. Like that's the point here, is like to try and if we can get extra money from businesses, if they want to allocate that for engineering students, that's fine. Then we can just say, okay, engineering students will be pulled from this pool. Everybody else would be from this other pool, unless there's other specific requirements. Jasmine?
So I heard the other day that it is impossible to find our foundation account to make a contribution.
Okay.
So it should probably be on our website somewhere obvious.
Yes.
And then also, it sounds like we might need to change how it's categorized on the foundation website. Because apparently you have to actually type in graduate and professional student council to get it to show up. GPSC doesn't work, and it's not under, I think, student affairs or something weird. I don't know if maybe you know who to have look into that, or
I haven't. Sarah told me that she's been talking to Foundation,
Okay.
so I'll
maybe
Great.
session is-
Yeah, I'll be in
Okay.
contact with
Great.
about it.
Okay,
That's all I have for right now.
You have something, Maria?
not me, I finally was able to pull Jim here, I'm just gonna read out, I think everyone could see it on the meeting, but, I think he voted in favor of the motion for giving back stipends, if I'm correctly understand, so that should be 7-4. And then, sorry, and then, regarding the proxies, I'm just gonna dump it all. Regarding proxies, he says the governing docs are currently silent, and then he says, governing docs should probably draft some comprehensive language about proxies to cover all these issues that were brought up. And we can talk with the general counsel about that. I'm adding that, talk with the general counsel. Regarding the computers we were talking about, sorry, jumping all, he says, how much do we expect to buy the computers and can we sell them to another department?
That's what we're
Yeah,
doing.
that's
Okay.
what surplus is.
Right, that's what I understood. I'm just making sure, cause Jay requested that I
Yeah.
read, so I'm reading that out. And he says, since we seem to be having Skype issues, I will email my report.
Okay, I think I see he sent it out to everybody.
I haven't gotten.
Yeah, I've got,
Everybody, I got it first.
I can forward you the whole chain.
No, I got his emails. I didn't get the report he said he was gonna email it though.
He hasn't, I don't think he
Okay,
sent
he
that
hasn't
out.
sent
He
it out.
said, I just sent, Jude via Skype the following file for using my budget report at this meeting that I'm expecting to, and he sent
Yeah, I saw that file.
he sent a
Okay,
file.
okay, I think
It's 7 o'clock.
he can send this to us.
Jude, it's up to you for your report.
My report now, obviously was the break, so not so much happened. First, I'm trying to draft a letter to give updates on GPSC's accomplishments in the last couple of months. Promised I was going to do that midway through our term. If there's something that you did that I'm not aware of, and you'd like me to include that in the letter, whatever I'm writing, it's on behalf of GPSC and not me. So if there's something you did and you want it to be part of the letter, please send it my way. I don't know what each of us did individually. I have a draft, but I need to update on that. Today I attended the faculty executive senate meeting. Nothing much was discussed. It was just mostly, because not so much has happened. It's still a new year. Outreach to cultural centers. I've been trying to speak with a few of them. I was supposed to have a meeting with Isoken last year, but that didn't happen. It's gonna happen this year. The plan is to see how we can start reaching out to these people and get more people to possibly run for our elections in March.
I'm sorry, so the meeting with Soken was about having more people run in general?
That meeting hasn't happened yet. I said I was supposed to have it last year, but
Right,
it
right,
happened.
right.
But it's basically we're trying to reach out to cultural centers and have them talk to the members about GPSC. Just more like to see if we can get more people to be involved in GPSC, more grad students, and have them to be part of us and run for the March elections. And lastly, we're still thinking about how we can build better collaborations with other grad student leaders around campus. I'm yet to do that, but it's still a thought, or still a work in progress. Jesse, we're going to move over to you as the last part of this meeting. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I had a
I
question.
skipped Dean of Students Office. But ask your question.
Yeah, just one question. Regarding, you said that there's a faculty,
Senate Executive. today.
Right, so have we decided whether we're gonna have the representative, the third faculty senate, cause
We haven't decided that yet. That was a discussion at the General Council, and I think.
Is what we were waiting to decide what my schedule is gonna be. My schedule is, for class is Tuesday, Thursday, so if the meetings are on Monday afternoon, I can do faculty.
Awesome. No, but I think our question is the discussion Mayweather had with us
Yeah,
GC meeting,
but,
right? I think
yeah,
that's what I
maybe
was-
we can have someone, if we want to have someone from faculty senate, and then that works with GPSC, or that.
Oh,
Yeah, like faculty advice. I think I should go back to GC to.
deal with.
Like the Mac had person, this might not be the moment to be, it might be better to look forward to the next year finding somebody, cause I
Yes.
can't, I know that my faculty would say, no, I'm busy. So,
Well, just because.
I think we should have these conversations, I just don't think it's gonna be something that happens
We
next
should
week.
bring the person in the middle of the year.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
that's a good
We
idea.
can start, like, basically encourage people to ask around and see if they know someone.
Well, if
But
someone-
I don't think there's a point in, like, trying to have this conversation during a GC meeting right now, because this isn't a change we're gonna be making immediately.
Well, we could make the change, I mean, if someone volunteers.
Do you happen to volunteer?
Well, not at this
Okay.
point, but.
Okay.
Can we
Then
can
when
we
you
talk
have a
about
volunteer,
this
we can
next
talk about
time?
this more.
It's not on the agenda. Dean of Student Office, any reports?
I don't have anything specific, but when you were talking about Sokin's efforts too, so undergrad student government, it was tasked with, given the directive to do outreach directly to you, so we've been doing some workshops on running for election too, so there may be a way to take advantage of that, those options that are already being
Okay,
done
that's
too.
a very good idea.
Just because we've had one session, I don't know, I think we had a kind of traditional audience show up, but I think we're continuing the effort because Kendall wants the initiative for us to make elections accessible for anyone to run, really, and that includes even potential resources for folks to run, if they need funding.
I think our elections, the ACUA elections director is also enrolling in all the cultural centers in the next couple of
So
weeks.
we could potentially combine efforts so
Yeah.
that
Is,
we don't
is
miss
there a
our
way to
grant.
have Alma work with them?
I don't know, I mean, I'm sure Alma would need help, I get the impression.
I can help with a few of those things. I don't know if anyone
And
has
Jude,
to
I've
be-
got some ideas too, so
Okay.
like,
Yeah, I just think we
I-
should definitely take advantage of those.
Yes.
Once we know for sure if the elections director is taken, I can make sure Claudia connects with you too, and then you can
Okay.
coordinate that. Yeah.
Okay. Any other reports from you, please? Okay. Jesse, you're the last person.
Well,
Sorry, we always put you at the last.
No, it's great. ASUA, we're partnering with, well, in theory, we would be partnering with them on some of the things that they're doing for advocacy to kick off the semester. Tomorrow night, I'm going to try to join them to make signs, which they will have out on the mall with a whole group of ASUA reps who are doing an extension of the selfie videos where they will take still videos or still pictures and make videos to send to our legislators and to Mike to get those out throughout the semester. I have got one video,
Send me the stuff and I'll do one.
which, thank you Marcus for making a video, and it is a really cool video, like it really is, as you might imagine, he would come up with. So I would still encourage you to make your videos and to encourage other people. So it kind of gets to my larger point, which is outside of this room, I have heard from no one. For all the emails I've sent about Wildcat Wednesday and Cats of the Capitol, and everyone in this room has communicated with me, which I really appreciate, but beyond that, zero responses to anything I sent.
Jesse, I would like to put you like at the beginning of the next meeting or right after Janice so that you don't get shuffled up to the very end for time if you have something that you would like to bring to General Council or several things.
Okay, I would, and I mean, and I would like some input on this, so I'll throw it out here now, and then we can have conversations between now and then, which is, I'm curious to know why they aren't participating. Is it that they're not interested? Is it that their schedule doesn't work? To get some feedback from General Counsel on if we're an advocacy organization and you are not responding or participating in this aspect of our organization, give us some feedback as to maybe what you think is important, what you would be willing to do. Because I'm definitely open to casting a wider net and getting more people involved. So if you have any feedback for me, or if there's a way for me to get that from General Counsel, I would love to start that conversation.
So I think my suggestion is, I think a lot of people aren't informed enough to come up with original ideas. But I think if, when you go talk to the General Counsel, you basically say, here are like the 5 things that I think graduate students might be interested in. do people have strong opinions about which things we should prioritize, I think you're gonna get a lot more feedback.
Okay, okay, that's very doable. Mike is supposed to join us for our January meeting, to come, so it will be after Cats at the Capitol. He'll give us a little update on how that went from a larger, point of view, and then from a university point of view. And then it will be before Wildcat Wednesday, which has now come to my attention that that is the same day as Student Showcase. If that is a deal breaker for everyone, and I'm going to end up going by myself, we should, maybe
I'm going.
reconsider that. If it's two different groups and we're fine with that, I'm fine with going with a small group, but, when we talked about this date originally, that conflict had not been brought to my attention, so I'll just throw that out there.
I'm going to Phoenix on that day, so I'll
Okay.
join you.
Which day?
Student Showcase.
Student Showcase.
I still am not, okay, so basically what the rules say is that you for REAP, I received a REAP grant, but it was in effect, I got it in July, which I think was the first thing, so do I have to do Student Showcase this year, or can I do it next year? Because part of the rules say when
it's-
your project is complete as well,
Yeah, and I think it's within 18 months.
so I can do
So
it next
you
year?
can do it next year.
Okay, I will come with you,
Okay.
and then I'll do Student Showcase next year, that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Because I had already committed to that with you anyways, so.
And I'm still tentative. I need to know if I have to be on that day of showcase. If I have to be here, then I can go. If I don't have to be here,
And this is a Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
I always have to be on campus on Wednesdays. Sorry.
Sorry, one other update, it's kind of coming in late, but, sorry. Jim would be glad to join in on the fundraising discussion.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay,
Great.
go on with your report.
And that's really all that I have. If you are interested in either making signs tomorrow night with the undergraduates, and the idea is I'm going to be there so I can make some graduate and professional student specific signs, and then we're going to use their manpower to have the tables out there, and if graduate students happen to walk up to get some of their chum, then there will be appropriate signs for them.
What time is this?
I believe it's at 6 o'clock tomorrow night,
Okay.
but I'm not positive, so I will let you know, and if you want to join,
I will see if I can.
Let me
find
know.
some people.
and then if you do want to go and recruit people to do signs, or go get your picture taken with a sign, it'll be the first day of school, so Wednesday, on the mall all day long, and it would be
Okay.
nice to, partner with them, because they're really doing us a big favor by letting us kind of tap into their resource. And that's
Okay,
it.
that's it for thank you. Any questions or contributions or anything for Jesse? In the absence of none, can someone move a motion
Move
to
to
adjourn
adjourn.
this meeting at 7:15? I hope we can keep up with this momentum. Thank you everyone for taking the time today. Thanks for coming.